大家好，今天是2025年9月的下半月，我们来看一下全球人工智能的5则新闻速报。
朋友们，这实在是太提气了！刚刚 DeepSeek R1成果登上 Nature 封面，就在昨晚，最新一期的 Nature 正式发布 ，DeepSeek 成为首家登上这一顶级学术期刊封面的中国大模型公司。创始人梁文峰亲任通讯作者。要知道，纵观全球，能获此殊荣的 AI 公司屈指可数。此前也只有 DeepMind 曾凭借 AlphaGo、AlphaFold 走上封面。要明白 ，Nature 是全球最具影响力和权威性的科学期刊之一，引用量常年位居世界第一。能发表在它上的成果，几乎无一不是具有里程碑意义的重大科学突破。而今天中国 AI 做到了。这一次 DeepSeek R1的论文首次公开，仅靠强化学习就能激发大模型的推理能力。这一成果不仅启发了全球 AI 研究者，也让 R1成为Hugging Face 上下载量超过1090万次的开源推理模型第一名，能够得到 Nature 的认可，可以说是实至名归。更让人震撼的是 ，R1 是一个拥有6600亿参数的超级模型，但训练成本竟不到30万美元。要知道，同行们为了训练同等级别的大模型，动辄要烧掉几千万美元。DeepSeek 直接打破了大投入才能产出顶级模型的行业神话，也难怪它在年初发布时会在美股引发一场海啸。与此同时 ，DeepSeek R1 还是全球首个经过独立同行评审的主流大语言模型。Nature 在社论中高度评价到，几乎所有主流大模型都未曾经过正式的同行评审，而这一空白终于被 DeepSeek 打破。俄亥俄州立大学人工智能研究员欢散更是直言，自 R1 发布以来，它几乎影响了所有在大语言模型中使用强化学习的研究。在 Nature 封面的推荐介绍中这样写道，如果训练出的大模型能够规划解决问题的步骤，它们往往能更好地完成任务。这种推理方式与人类相似，但极具挑战，需要大量人工标注。而 DeepSeek 展示了如何在极少人工输入下训练出具备推理能力的模型。R1 的训练方式正是强化学习，答对奖励，答错惩罚，如此反复，模型学会了逐步推理、自我验证和反思，从而在编程和科研级问题上表现更优。更让人敬佩的是 DeepSeek 的透明与开源精神。它不仅公开了 R1 与 R1.0 的模型权重，还同步开源了基于科瑞 2.5 和 Llama 3蒸馏的多个版本，为全球研究者提供复现思路与应用支持。回想年初 DeepSeek 在海外爆火时，梁文峰那句铿锵有力的话，至今令人振奋。中国 AI 不可能永远跟随。作为国产开源 AI 模型的代表， DeepSeek 这一次登上 Nature 封面，不仅是对科研成果的认可，更是对中国 AI 透明性与开源精神的最高嘉奖。下一个会不会是阿里同意、字节 C 的腾讯混元、百度文心、华为质朴、Kimi 接跃？未来每一个中国 AI 都可能成为世界舞台上最闪耀的星。
腾讯呢，在今天上午正式发布了它的全新 AI 命令行界面 CLI 工具 CodeBuddy Code， 并且呢同步宣布 IDE 面向所有用户开启公测，不需要邀请码。我们看一下它的发布背景和定位。CodeBuddy Code 是腾讯云 AI 编程产品矩阵中的最新形态，专业为工程师设计，支持通过自然语言驱动开发和运维整个生命周期，全面提升自动化效率。然后呢，随着它的推出，腾讯云呢成为业内首家同时支持插件、IDE 和 CLI 3种形态的 AI 编程工具提供商。我觉得3种形态的提供商好像还有阿里云吧。不知道是不是记错了，如果说有小伙伴知道的话，可以回复一下。它的一个主要功能和特点，第一个就是通过自然语言进行这个驱动开发，第二个呢就是深度融合现有工具链，可以与这个 Git、npm 等管道无缝衔接。第三个就是这个多模型支持，国内版呢它是集成了这个 DeepSeek 等本土大模型，国际版呢是兼容这个 GPT、Gemini 等主流模型，这里面好像没有提到的是。然后它的使用方法呢也是非常简单，并且呢它支持这个 MCP 协议扩展，它可以自动化批处理，适合这个代码重构、CI/CD 流水线等场景，显著的提升开发效率。然后的话，腾讯内部超过90%的工程师已经在使用 CodeBuddy 系列产品，整体编码时间平均缩短40%，AI 代码生成占比超过50%，结合大规模投产经验，研发效率提升16%。那我们下面呢就一起来体验一下它的这个工具，看看能不能免费使用国际的顶流大模型。然后呢我搜索了一下，它是分这个国际版和国内版的。 我们可以看到国际版和国内版呢均通过这个 NPM 包统一分发，安装命令呢是一样的，区别在于登录账号和模型源的选择。国际版呢主要是采用这个谷歌和 GitHub 等国际身份登录，完成后将在本地生成这样一个配置文件，包含国际版模型额度。所以说大家如果想使用的话，可能需要用到谷歌或者是 GitHub 的账号登录。然后国际版是支持这个 GPT Gemini 模型，不需要额外配置。如果说需要指定模型，可以运行上面这个命令，可以看到直接设置默认模型为 GPT-4。国内版的话就是直接使用国内手机或者是腾讯云账号登录，登录后会自动接入 DeepSeek 等国产大模型。那我们下面就正式来使用一下。首先呢，我们需要保证自己的网络是外网的 IP， 然后第二个我们直接运行它的这个安装命令，粘贴进来回车。可以看到速度非常的快，只有963毫秒。我们可以看到它的这个使用方式好像跟 Cloud Code 是差不多。我们继续看一下这个用量，当前使用了 2.3， 好像看它的意思是 2.3 个请求，看来这1000个 credits 应该是能用挺久的。我们可以看到已经把这个项目完成了，可以看到总共的消耗了 4.11 个。然后呢，我们直接打开这个首页看看，可以看到这个确实是 Cloud4 的这个模型写出来的页面确。好了，以上呢就是本次的一个分享，喜欢的小伙伴可以赶快去。
First thing you need to realize is that coding and programming are not the same. Coding is the skill of translating logic into instructions for a computer by writing code. An elite coder might be able to bang out 100 words per minute of perfect C code in Vim purely from memorized syntax, but large language models are making this skill obsolete. An 8-year-old prompter can now write code faster than a skilled professional with 20 years of experience. But programming is a far broader skill that's hard to describe. It's both an art and a science that requires ingenuity, creativity, and good instincts gained through experience. The best programmers often spend more time removing code than writing code, and if you don't understand the code you're vibing out like a true programmer, you won't get very far. Like this poor guy on the internet vibe coded a SaaS product and even had paying customers, which is a huge achievement for an indie hacker. Upon learning about his success, the trolls of the internet came out and hacked it to pieces. Quote, "Random thing are happening, maxed out usage on API keys, people bypassing the subscription, creating random shit on DB. This is taking me longer than usual to figure out. Ultimately, the app was taken down permanently, and the guy had to beg for his job back at Popeyes." Sadly, there are many such cases, but when done properly, vibe coding can work. And I think it's only a matter of time before we see a billion-dollar business that runs entirely on vibes, which will likely be built with tools like V0 or Bolt, along with AI IDEs like Cursor and Windsurf. But if you choose to vibe max your code with tools like these, I would highly recommend following these 3 rules. Rule number 1, choose a popular, simple tech stack. Something like React, Express, Tailwind, Redis, and Dino should be ideal for web dev. The reality is that these LLMs are best at solving problems that people have already solved on places like GitHub, Stack Overflow, etc. And that means even though you hate React, trying to use that fancy new JavaScript framework is going to kill your vibes. Actually, screw that, my preferred choice is Svelte, but I've actually been getting really good vibe coding results with Vue.js and Nuxt. So this rule is breakable. Rule number 2, though, is not breakable, and that is to get good at Git. When AI takes control of your code, that means it also has the power to delete your working code. And when that happens, it's almost impossible to prompt it back into existence. However, if you're disciplined and use version control, you would have stashed that good working code somewhere safe. In fact, you can use tools like Claude Code to vibe commit your code for you, or check out my full Git course if you want to learn it by hand. But the most important rule is rule number 3. Ask not what your AI can do for you, but what can you do for your AI. You're not a coder anymore, you're a product manager. And if you want to be a good one, you need to break down complex requirements into small steps. They should be highly specific and also provide the proper context to solve the problem, like recent documentation and images for UI design. It might sound like a vibe killer, but you don't want your LLM to get creative. You want it to be as deterministic as possible. As a developer who's highly skilled in building failed side projects, I've never felt more powerful. That being said, I think relying on vibes only is still a bad idea. Like the Levels flight simulator had all kinds of issues, and it likely would have failed miserably if it weren't for the developer's many years of experience as a foundation.
And that leads us to the one thing that's been missing up until now, is the whole area of money. And how are people going to deal with agents making payments on your behalf, agents collecting money if you're a merchant, and even in the future, this whole idea of having sort of agent app stores where your agent can basically ping another agent, negotiate a price for something, get some work done, get the response back from that. Okay, so today Google's rolling out the Agent Payments Protocol. So this is basically a protocol that's going to be specifically for payments and for handling financial interactions between agents. And there are a number of different use cases that you can imagine this being used. So one of the first ways that Google's proposed that this is being used is for sort of where you want an agent to be able to go and stand in line for you to go and buy tickets or something. So imagine you've got a Taylor Swift concert coming up, tickets are going on sale at a certain time of day. You want your agent to be able to just stay online, and the moment the tickets become available, it can reserve some tickets for you. It can then pay for those tickets as well. Another use case for this is the whole idea of just finding something that you want to buy. Imagine that you see a piece of clothing, you screenshot it, you give it to an agent, it works out what that brand is, and then goes off on the web and scours for where is that available, what's the price for that. And if you've given it a budget of like, okay, if this is less than $30, automatically buy this for me and get it sent to my house. Another use case that they propose is the whole idea of sort of repetitive purchases. So for me, this one makes a lot of sense when you combine this with some kind of triggered agent. So if you've got agents sitting there noticing that you haven't taken your supplements for 2 days because they've run out, it can automatically just go online to the place where you've bought this before, or perhaps even shop around, and then handle the transaction and go through that. And you can also imagine having agents that are looking for things that you're interested in, but only when they are on sale or only when they're heavily discounted, etc. So you can imagine giving agents the ability to buy things is going to cause issues for the different players in the game here. So you've got concerns from merchants where they want to control the customer, they want to be able to upsell you, they want to be able to enroll you in some kind of loyalty program. And then you've even got things like the payment ecosystem where they're going to be very concerned around people impersonating you or agents impersonating your agents, etc. There's a whole bunch of issues there around sort of risk and fraud, and issues around who is actually liable if something goes wrong in these situations.
정부가 150조 원 규모의 국민 성장 펀드를 조성해 향후 5년간 인공지능 또 반도체, 바이오 등 10대 첨단 산업에 집중 투자합니다. AI 데이터 센터와 에너지 고속도로 같은 국가적 메가 프로젝트에서도 자금을 투입해서 이 글로벌 기술 패권 경쟁에 대응하고 미래 성장 동력을 확보하겠다는 구상입니다. 이재명 대통령은 12일 열린 국민 보고 대회에서 이 국민 성장 펀드가 정체된 산업에 새로운 활력을 불어넣을 것이라며 위기를 기회로 바꿔 대한민국이 재도약해야 한다고 강조했습니다. 행사에는 최태원 SK 회장과 박현주 미래에셋 회장을 비롯해서 재계와 정부 주요 인사들이 대거 참석했습니다. 이 국민 성장 펀드는 단초 100조 원에서 150조 원으로 확대됐습니다. 절반은 정부가 마련하고 나머지는 연기금 또 금융회사, 국민이 참여해 민간 자금으로 충당하는 구조인데요. 정부는 민간 참여를 이끌기 위해서 먼저 손실을 부담하는 방식도 도입했습니다. 투자 대상은 AI, 반도체, 또 바이오뿐 아니라 2차 전지, 미래차, 또 로봇, 수소, 디스플레이, 방산까지 폭넓게 포함되고 있습니다. 특히 AI에는 30조 원, 반도체에서는 20조 원, 모빌리티는 15조 원 등 대규모 자금이 배정됩니다. 정부는 지부 투자와 또 인프라 금융, 초저리 대출 등 맞춤형 지원을 통해서 한국형 엔비디아를 만들겠다고 밝혔습니다. 다만 민간 자금을 안정적으로 끌어올 수 있을지, 그리고 펀드 수익률을 어떻게 확보해야 할지 과제로 꼽히고 있습니다. 전문가들은 세제 혜택 등 인센티브가 뒤따라야 펀드를 성공할 수 있다고 강조하고 있습니다. 그렇다면 관련 질문 2가지 살펴보겠습니다. 세계 각국이 AI, 또 반도체, 배터리 등 국가 자금을 쏟아붓는 상황인데 한국의 150조 원 펀드는 경쟁력이 충분할까요? 일단 미국과 중국은 수천조 원대 자금을 국가 전략 사업에 투입하고 있습니다. 그와 비교하면 한국의 150조 원은 규모적인 면에서 좀 작을 수는 있겠지만 특정 산업군에 집중해 선택과 집중을 한다는 점에서 의미가 큽니다. 결국 효율과 집행, 또 민간 참여 확대가 경쟁력을 좌우할 수도 있습니다. 2번째 질문 보겠습니다. 정부가 말하는 한국형 엔비디아는 구체적으로 어떤 의미가 있을까요? 일단 엔비디아는요, AI 반도체 시장을 사실상 장악한 글로벌 선도 기업입니다. 정부가 말하는 한국형 엔비디아는 국내 기업이 AI 반도체, 또 데이터 센터, 관련 인프라 분야에서 독자적 기술력을 갖추고요, 세계 시장에서 경쟁력을 확보하는 그림을 말하고 있습니다.